those hardbound volumes of the Mohammed Speaks, and I would actually sit and just go through them. And I was kind of young when the situation happened with Emmett Till, but because my parents had those volumes of Mohammed Speaks newspapers around the house, I learned about the personal situation that occurred with Emmett Till by just going through those papers. First, the pictures caught me, and then, African Americans, we don't like to read that much. Then I started reading the words. And so I learned about, some of the tragic situations that occurred, as well as a lot of the good that occurred that the Muslim Journal, that the Mohammed Speaks at that time had put forward. And then you see the same type of impact within the Muslim Journal. So they are making these hardcover binders available. They will bind your books, your newspapers for you. And so if you look in the journal, you'll see an ad for that. This particular history book, a lot of it actually comes from the Muslim Journal. We went through some of the old copies of the Muslim Journal, and we were able to come up with some really beautiful pieces from the Muslim Journal that we pulled out, and we used those along with the personal statements that we got from believers from across the United States, and we put together the first volume of a history book that's designed for elementary as well as high school students. Now, when I was in school at the University of Islam, our reading teacher, Islamic studies teacher, it was the same person, Sheikh Shabazz, he would take Mohammed Speaks, we would all have a copy, we all opened up to a certain page, and we read. And he had to develop questions to quiz us on what we read from his own knowledge bank. He had to put that work together. This is the world of convenience. As a teacher, if I see a source that's already set up and ready for me to use as a teacher, I'm going to go and get that source. Now, I might modify it. I do modify them, actually. I'll do whatever I need to do to make it personal for my students. But if it's already educator-friendly, then that just makes it even easier for me to pick it up. As a parent, when I'm looking at supplementing what my children are being exposed to in their school, regardless if it's a Muslim school or a non-Muslim school, as parents, we are their educators. Mothers, we are their first educator, and that responsibility is on our shoulders for the rest of their lives and our lives. So when I'm looking at things to do with my students and looking at things to do with my children, if something's already designed as an educational tool, that makes it even more inviting for me to say, okay, I think I want to get that. But that's what this book is. This book is designed for educators. This book is designed for parents, grandparents, so that you can teach the children. We take the language and we haven't dumbed it down, but we've put it in such a way where it's easy for that elementary school child, that middle school child, that high school student to actually use this as a way to learn our history. And it is told from the mouth of those who lived the history. Not from a historian who didn't live the history, who collected some data and decided to put together this scholarly piece. We're talking about the mouths of the people who actually lived the experience. This is like going to grandma's house, sitting on grandma's knee, granddad's knee, and hearing firsthand what they experienced and learning from that. That's what this book represents. So we're encouraged. We have them in the back. The Mosque is selling them. We have them in the back. They're $13 a piece. We are preparing for the second volume, which is going to talk about our educational system, how our schools got started. We hear, well, when I was in the school, but we actually want to hear from the alumni. One of my graduating alumni is sitting right here as a fashion model, sitting over here. Ramona and I, we graduated from high school together. Okay, we walked across the stage of the temple. We were the first graduating class to come out of 7351 South Stony Island Avenue in 1973. Okay, I'm putting our age out there. But we were the first graduating class to come from that building. Okay, so we experienced both the property on Greenwood, for those of you who know the history of the schools in Chicago, and the beginning of the property on Stony Island. All right, that's why I just heard one of our teachers back there. Her child went to the school. I taught her son. She taught my siblings. She taught my children. I taught her son. We had that family unity here. Sister Hanifa Shabazz. So we need to hear from the alum. We need to hear from the parents of the alum. Sister Layla Kareem, she's in this book. Her husband, he's in, Brother Wally Kareem, they're in here. But they are talking about their experience as believers coming into this community and what fired them up. If they wish to add another piece on what it was like to be a parent, to actually be a part of working with the teachers, with the staff, that's what we're looking for the next volume. July 1st is the deadline. July 1st. We would like to get information from you so we can work on the next volume. Inshallah, have it ready for the convention. So think about it. Contact people who are not here. Those of you who can, contact the people who are not able to come out. Take your tape recorder. We'll even take the audio version and transcribe it. We have former principals, inshallah, that we'll have in the next issue, teachers and students. So let your voice be a part of that history. Assalamu alaikum. And that's not just Chicago. We had schools all over 40, I heard 45 or 47 schools.
Between 45 and 50.
45 and 50. One of our historians, Dr. John Haseen. He's been a part of another history piece. He's been interviewing people across the nation. He's documenting the history. He's creating a book that can be used in high school and the university, talking about our history. Again, from the mouths of those who were there, who lived it. So, 45 schools. 45 schools. We need to get that represented, inshallah, in this book. Assalamu alaikum.
All right. I'm going to make a few comments, then the president of the Mosque is going to come before us, Wallace Mohammed II. Wallace Mohammed II, he's been invited to speak at the fundraising dinner at the Masjid Deen in Corona, Queens, New York. He is the main speaker. And those of us who's with the Mosque staff or associated with the Mosque, many of us are jumping at the opportunity to go and hear Wallace speak, make his first public address. Public address, the son of Imam W. Muhammad. You know, some of you might be in martial arts, some of you are not. But in, Kung Fu is a word, a Chinese word, which means all the martial arts in the Chinese system. Then you got different styles and so forth. The best martial artist is one who takes the best of all the martial arts and put it into one system and use that to defend himself. So you can't give it a particular name, but it's just extracting all the best of the martial arts and putting it into one system. The Holy Quran, it has a chapter in regards called the bee. The bee is a creature that collects pollen from all the excellent flowers. Not only does it collect the pollen, it passes the pollen out and helps germinate all different types of plants. But the bee collects the pollen from all these beautiful flowers and so forth, and it comes back to the hive, and they produce honey. And honey is a healing, honey is good to eat, honey is a food, and so forth. It's all been collected. Now, we know that Allah revealed the Quran through Prophet Muhammad. So Prophet Muhammad represents the bee because the Quran was revealed through him, and it's a collection of all the words of God collected in one book, and it's referred to as a healing. It's also food and so forth. I mentioned a part of martial arts. If a person was, the top martial artist, and he had extracted all the best of the martial arts, and he was known as being one of the best, or the best. And then he had a son who listened to him and emulated what he taught. And then the